Hey there, friends. Dave Paulides, Canine Missing Project, a copyrighted edition for our video channel. It's Huck TV. It's her channel. She's the executive producer. And there's a union complaint right there. She's sleeping on the job. Can you believe that? But I'm going to give her a big break today. And why is that? I'm going to show you. Today, Huck and I went out and we went to Glacier National Park, and we took a long walk in an area where dogs are allowed, and I took this picture. Tell me that's not a good one. It was beautiful, sunny. Huck was having fun. We had a good time, and she was in a good mood too. There were a lot of people walking around out there and a bunch of dogs, and certain areas in national parks, dogs are allowed, but there's a picture just of it was a beautiful day. It's probably the nicest day so far this year at the park. It was about 50 degrees, sunny, and almost everybody at the park was a local because I think most of the people here knew that it was such good weather that this is going to be one of those times where you're going to have to go out, especially us that live here. We have to fight with traffic all the time during the summer, and this is really a good time to get out. And just so you know, Lake McDonald, big lake, beautiful, clean, prestigious. Can't say enough about it. All right, let's get going. If you don't know, please pay attention to this, the biggest news of the year. We have a Kickstarter campaign going right now for our next movie. Yes, I'm on it. I'm working on the storyline. I'm all over it. Now, what is that next movie? Missing 411 National Parks. And I want to thank Marty from Gather Up Events that did that logo. I think it's awesome. And yeah, Marty from Gather Up Events. I'm talking about the Caribbean cruise in November of 2025. Go to Gather Up, one word, Gather Up Events. And you can look at the cruise, Bigfoot Caribbean cruise. I'm going to do a couple talks on the ship. I'm going to take a tour with people before the ship even leaves. A day before, we're going to go to Coral Castle outside of Miami. Look it up. It's a weird place. It's on my bucket list. Always want to go, and I think it'll be fun. I know it'll be fun. And I'm going to take probably 60 of you and spend a day out there touring. Yes, we will spend a day out there. And don't call Coral Castle. They don't even know about this yet. We haven't even set it up. It's all handled through Gather Up Events. And the way this works is we're going to be at sea for several days. And one way you can occupy your time is to come to presentations that are made by me and Meldrum and Mariah Mayor. And we're each going to give one public presentation, and then we're going to do a couple of private presentations to small groups that you can sign up for. And honestly, the one I did on the Alaska cruise last year, I think they packed the room, 65 people, and everybody came up and said, Dave, that was fun. That was really good. We really appreciated it. So I appreciated that. And also on the cruise, multiple nights, we have dinner signups. You can have dinner with us at one of the really good restaurants on the ship. On the last ship, I hosted a dinner at an Italian restaurant. Oh, it was really good. And then I hosted one at a sushi restaurant, which was also really good. So a lot of options to hang out, meet me, meet Jeff, meet Mariah. And the other thing is, We're on the ship. I mean, during the day when the ship's cruising, walking around just like you. Everyone comes up, talks. Yeah. If somebody has a tough time with that, they shouldn't be on the ship. It's just a lot of fun. And if nothing else, go to that location, gather up events, the Bigfoot Caribbean Cruise, and just look at what it is. There's a lot of good options for it and a lot of fun. And then we talked about the National Parks Kickstarter. And then if you go to NA, like North America, nabigfootsearch.com, if you go all the way to the bottom of the choices, you're going to see where I'm going to be appearing this year. I'm not going to make a lot of appearances this year. The only ones are I'm going to be in Bozeman at an event, a Timothy Alberino event. And I'm going to be at Phenomicon in Utah. That's a great conference. And I'm going to be at the cruise. And I'm going to be, a lot of my time this summer will be filming. So, yeah, it'll be an action-packed year, to say the least. 2 cases today. Unusual, very. Now, we've talked a lot about North Carolina, the area around Fayetteville. Well, hold your taters. Many months ago, one of you sent me an email, and it takes me months to get to these emails. I get to this email eventually, and then this person, thank you by the way, sends me a follow-up email on the same topic. It says, Dave, I sent you this a few months ago, and you know, it kind of fits with what you're talking about, that area around Fayetteville. It sure does. And this one's about a good hard baseball throw north of Fayetteville. I'm just kidding, it's miles away, but not tons of miles, 8-10 miles. And it sure fits. It involves a man named Harvey James Beard IV. That's his legal name. His everyday name is Trey Beard, 25 years old. Missing October 10th, 2024. Fairly new case. Trey is 5'11", 150. He's from Lillington, North Carolina. He's a smart kid. 25. Smart young man. He was an electrical contractor, and that's no easy thing to accomplish. He worked for a company called Ace Electric. Now, to be able to work on your own as an electrical contractor, you got to jump through a lot of hoops. Journeyman, apprentice, etc. Well, before he became an electrical contractor, he graduated from Overhills High School in Spring Lake, North Carolina. And he did something that I'm a big advocate on. If you're a young person out there and you're watching, you're in high school, I would be a big advocate for my kids right now, if they were in high school, to go into the trades. Plumber, electrical, any of those. Because you're always going to be needed. And the pay is exceptionally good. Each of those, about $120,000 a year. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. And depends how hard you want to work, of course. You want to work 7 days a week, you can. In some companies, they need 24/7 coverage on these things. He enjoyed automobiles. That was his hobby. And he had one brother. On October 10th, at about 11:30 at night, Trey is seen by friends running into the woods in a place called Bun Level, North Carolina. And he runs into the woods. He doesn't come out. What's weird about this is I do my homework. I probably read 30 different sites, everything I could find on the case, and nobody could explain to me why he did this. And the area where he ran into has like a neighborhood there where 10 streets maybe. Then that region's surrounded by woods and fields, etc. Well, the next day, family starts looking for him, can't find him. And they report him missing to the Harnett County Sheriff in North Carolina. Well, he's last seen wearing a Bass Pro hat, a blue hoodie, blue jeans, boots, and a gray backpack. The gray backpack kind of threw me. Because if you're out visiting friends, I don't know, what do you carry a backpack into the house for? It's kind of odd. Or was he traveling and jumped out of a bus? I don't know. The whole thing's very vague. But why he was in that area and why he ran was never clarified. But the police never said it was them that was chasing him, so just get that in your head. His parents stated in a press conference that he had a serious condition that required daily medication. Remember when I told you about people that fitting that 411 profile having a serious condition? You know what I mean? Well, after he disappeared, the Harnett County Sheriff, the family reported him missing. They took the report and they decided that they were going to throw a lot of resources at this because they thought it was odd. Well, that's good. They thought it was odd. They put multiple canine teams, ground pounders, and drones into that area. Family gave another press conference and stated that their son was a very gifted artist as well. He could draw anything. They were trying to put a human touch to this, I could tell. I liked it. The sheriff searched for 4 days. Found nothing. Multiple canine teams never came up with a scent trail. Drones flying from the sky didn't see anything on the ground. You know, drones now can have FLIR on them. Most search and rescue teams have that on their drone now. Now, on this event, based on Trey and his age, they would have put the primary search zone as 2 miles or under, maybe even 4 miles and under, but I'm just saying 2 to be conservative. And they would have cleared those first 2 areas to like a 99% effective area and then slowly moved out 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles. Well, the sheriff decided after another week that he was going to go out there and give it another go. This time they were going to line walk the area with ground pounders. And they did. Hold on to your hats. 3/4 of a mile from the point he was last seen, searchers walk up on a body in a soybean field. And it was Trey. What? Yeah. Troy is 5'11", 150 pounds. Not a small target. What I mean is that you have a drone in the sky. It's a big person. Very hard to miss. Very hard to miss. The sheriff said that there were no obvious signs of violence, and he sent the body for autopsy. And what really irritates the heck out of me is there was no mention by anyone of what he was or wasn't wearing. Did he have his backpack? Did he have his shoes? Was he wearing all his clothes? Etc., etc., etc. No mention. So now, I am not, and I want people to listen carefully, I am not being critical on search and rescue at all on these things. I'm speaking out loud because I know search and rescue is asking themselves the same question. Number one, how did the drones miss the body in a soybean field 3/4 of a mile from the point last seen? I don't understand that. How did multiple canine teams miss Trey's scent so close to the PLS, point last seen? It's a soybean field. There should be tracks in the soybean field of Trey to the point where he was found, right? So, he's 3/4 of the mile from a point last seen. How was he missed by ground pounders, drones, and dogs? Number 4, how did cadaver dogs miss Trey 12 days in that field? But Dave, this is missing 411. Was he really in that field for 12 days? See, the sheriff's not going to want to acknowledge that, because the only way law enforcement thinks is that if he wasn't in the field, then one of us, a human, dumped him there, so it's a crime. They don't want to acknowledge that. But we know it may not be that. So we've got point of separation. Trey was with somebody. He was running for some reason. I always go back to X-Files. And there was that episode where people were drawn to a location. Who gets drawn into the middle of a soybean field? Now here's the part where it gets super interesting. Remember we talked about the disappearances at Hope Mills and the area south. Well, this is the Cape Fear River right here. Hope Mills is right there. Cape Fear is in orange. And you notice the distance between here and here and here and here. It's about equidistance from here to here. So the distances between these disappearances. Now remember, the man that took his friends fishing were on the Cape Fear River. The man that put his stuff on the counter and disappeared and was found in a pond, his house was equidistant from the Cape Fear River. Now, the distance from northern Fayetteville to this location, about 8 miles. Not that far. I would call this a cluster zone, folks, now with these 3 disappearances. Now, we got to make sure on Trey's cause of death. They haven't stated it yet, and that bothers me. Now, let's look at this map. This is the area where Trey was last seen. The junction of those streets I told you. This is a 3/4 mile radius from that point. So there aren't that many fields to clear. Field, forest. The rest is neighborhood. I'm having a very difficult time understanding how he was missed. I'm just saying. The case is intriguing to me. It's very discomforting, especially since the sheriff and the family doesn't say why he was running. He was too young to die from natural causes. And they said he was taking medication, so we don't know what that condition is. Next case. Strange case. Involves a man named Wilford Ray Johnson, 91 years old. Went missing June 29th, 2017. Not that long ago, 8 years. Went missing at 11 a.m., June 29th, 2017. He's a resident of Longview, Washington. Oh yeah, I know Longview very well. He lived alone at 91. His wife was deceased many years earlier. He got used to living alone. He was raised in Washington. He's a World War II veteran. And in 1996, he had a triple bypass. And his family said he was very healthy. Wilford was a man of routine. He took long walks, 2 of them every day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. And then he broke that day up by, after having the morning walk, getting in his silver Honda, driving into town, and picking one of his 5 favorite restaurants and going to have lunch, and then doing errands, and then coming home. Family said every day was the same. They said, I'll quote, he had a sharp mind and a spry demeanor, straight from his family. And Wilford had friends in the neighborhood that always kind of kept an eye on him. They saw when he left for his morning walk. They saw when he came back. They saw him when he left in his car. They saw when he come back. At 91 years old, you got to be just happy you're getting up in the morning. That would have been me. And to have neighbors that love you that much and kind of keep an eye on you, God bless them. Well, June 29th at 11 a.m., Wilford had taken his morning walk. Neighbors saw him get into his silver Honda and drive off. Right on time, completely normal, right on his normal routine. Friends said that, in the neighborhood said that they didn't remember seeing him drive back. And then they thought, well, we'll see him when he's walking around in the afternoon. But they didn't see that either. So they went over to his house. They could tell that his car didn't come home. He wasn't there. And they called his family because they had family numbers. This is Wilford. Happy, friendly, spry, and sharp at 91. You got to pray that we can make it that long with those definitions of behavior. Well, the friends called the family. Family took it upon themselves that afternoon to go out and check all of his favorite restaurants, stores, locations that he would go to. Took him several hours. They got back and they called the sheriff because they knew something was really wrong. This had never happened before. Family in the press conference made it a point of saying, he is Mr. Routine. Well, the sheriff comes out, takes the report, gets some pictures, identifies the car he's driving, and they enter that car into NCIC, the National Center for Information Systems for the USA. If any law enforcement agency runs a license plate on that car, it's going to come back as a hold because there's a missing person associated with that car. Perfect. The next day, June 30th, 2017, the Skamania County Sheriff's Office gets a call in their communication center of a silver Honda that is abandoned and stuck on a forest road in the middle of the Gifford-Pinochet National Forest off Road 93, 30 miles northeast of Cougar, Washington, and just east of Mount St. Helens. Now hold your taters. If you could pick one spot that has some of the most unusual disappearances, some of the most unusual aerial displays, ground cryptids, anywhere, that is the spot. Well, the communications center runs that license plate even before the deputies get out. And they say it's associated with a missing person, so they send multiple deputies. They knew they had an elderly man missing, and it was urgent for them to find him. Deputies get on scene, and they start to process the vehicle. They notice that the driver's side window is broken out on scene because there's glass on the ground, and there's a dented fender. Now, they didn't know it at the time, but the relative said, no, it wasn't there before. So they tell the family they found the vehicle, and the family says, please start searching. We'll get there as soon as we can. Well, as they're processing the car, campers in that area approach the Skamania County deputies and say, hey, you know what? On June 29th, we saw that car here. Well, that was the day that Wilford drove away from his house, was the 29th. Well, that's no easy drive. You see, that's about almost 2 hours and 15 minutes from where he lives to get to that location. Now, here's where Wilford lives, in Longview, Washington, just across the border from Oregon. And this road is initially south of Mount St. Helens. Then it kind of sneaks up the backside. Let me tell you, folks, that area, very thick, very dense woods, very spooky, very scary. I'm telling you, a lot of people have disappeared in this area and have never been found. All right? So the Skamania County deputies take it seriously, and they request a search and rescue call out, and they also ask their detectives to follow this route right here and stop at gas stations along the way and see if they could find any CCTV footage of Wilford pulling in, getting gas, or going to the bathroom or whatever. So Skamania County puts out 24 ground pounders, 13 family members show up, and 2 canine teams all work that area. They had the family work the road and the roadside all the way out, just so they wouldn't get lost. And they had their ground pounders searching all over, and they had the canines following whatever scent that they could pick up. 3-day search and rescue of that car area turned up exactly nothing. The sheriff, in their efforts to contact gas stations, found nothing. The family reminded the deputies that he was a very fit man and tried to get him to continue the search longer. Now, if you and I were on that road and we got stuck on that road, high stuck on the middle, common sense would say you just follow the road back out to get out. What really perturbed me about this case is that Skamania County stated in their press release and told the press that Wilford had early stages of dementia. But that didn't fit with what the family said. Sometimes I think sheriff's offices say things to make it appear, oh, what happened was normal. Oh, a man with dementia got all messed up and accidentally drove into the woods, got confused, and walked into oblivion. But that isn't what the family said. Now, they did make an interesting statement. They said that Wilford didn't like driving high-speed highways, and for the last several years he had stayed off of them. So to get to this location, there was a portion where you had to drive a major 2-lane highway, not a freeway, but a highway, to get to it. So I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. The family also said that in their lifelong knowledge of Wilford, to the best they knew, he had no association with this forest in this area on the other side of Mount St. Helens. And they couldn't understand why he would go there. One thing I've stated before, and when I was writing this up, it struck me. Imagine being Wilford, 91 years old, survived World War II, all the possible death traps he could have fallen into during the war, all the close calls he might have missed in life, accidents, crime, health problems, cancer. None of that happened to him. And then this. Very odd. And then this bothers me too. With the technology we have in the world, and I know this is true what I'm going to tell you, we have technology in the world, in satellites, that could read a license plate on your car from a satellite. Because of that, why don't we find more missing people with the aid of satellites? Yeah. That one's always bothered me. And I know what I just told you is 100% true because of people in high places in the military that have told me this is true. They use it for war. Why not put some of that technology to save lives instead of to take lives? Just saying. I appreciate you guys being here greatly. And yeah, Wilford's case bothers me a lot. There was some implication maybe at some point somebody carjacked him, but that area of Washington just does not have that kind of crime. And the sheriff even said that that doesn't make sense to him. But why would he drive that highway? But then again, why would he leave the confines of his city that he goes to every day and just take off? And then why go to this part of the forest? That one's odd, folks. So, thanks for being here. Please go take a look at the Kickstarter right now. Kickstarter.com, Missing 411 National Parks. Please do it. We need everybody helping us out or we're never going to make it. And don't forget the cruise. Gather Up events. Gather Up, one word. Events. Bigfoot Caribbean Cruise. You guys are great. Remember to be kind. Kindness is free. And I think we need more kindness in the world. Be safe. Paulides out.